And I want to present Mr. David Pearl, the owner of HooksAtIssues.com, for his perspective on school policies.
Good evening. What I wanted to do is just kind of briefly go over the school policy. I asked the superintendent to give me the most recent school policy. I've got an abbreviated form of it up here, and I'm just going to kind of elaborate a little bit on it as we go through. Number one, as Detective Bouchard was concerned about, the students will have to sign this agreement, which does ask for their serial number and their parent's signature. So there should be a database somewhere indicating what all of these devices' serial numbers are and who's responsible for them. And all of the rest of the things I'm going to mention are on the agreement. The student takes full responsibility for the device. I think this is pretty self-explanatory that whatever the student does with this or the parents do with this, it's their responsibility. The student's responsible for the cost of repair or replacement of the device. Again, if it's broken at school and so forth, it's going to be up to the parents and the students to deal with that. School reserves the right to inspect the device. I think this is important for the issues that the detective mentioned. If there are any issues of inappropriate use and so forth, the school is going to reserve that right to inspect it. And maybe some of our other presenters tonight can tell us how complicated that might be. I don't know if it's as easy as flipping it on and seeing if there's something there that shouldn't be there, or whether things can be, kind of stowed away on that. So that'll be a little interesting to find out. Violations result in loss of use of the device. This hasn't really been specified as to, how much misuse gets how much loss or anything like that. So at this point, it's kind of a broad statement in the policy. So I think we're going to have to wait to see what happens. Teachers can say shut it down. As we were at the other BYOD meeting and we were trying to ask what the classroom would look like, this wasn't really explained that the teachers, I guess, according to the policy, the teachers can decide that they don't want the kids to use these devices anymore and can just say to shut them off. And I think that's also true with all the school officials. If the kids are using them in the hall and so forth, they're going to be able to tell them to shut them off. Charging a device before bringing it to school. The policy does state that your device has to be able to be used on battery at the school, so that we shouldn't have any chargers at the school or need for outlets and so forth. Students may not record or transmit, post videos of persons on campus without permission from the teachers. This one, I think, is probably going to be the most problematic one. As we're going to see later when we hear about these devices, most of these devices have cameras on them, and I think this is going to be kind of hard to police in a classroom that's using multiple devices by multiple kids and different device types. Only accessing relevant files. This hasn't really been defined, and I don't know if it's going to be. There is a firewall on the Wi-Fi network that the kids will be on, so I know that that's going to limit them. I don't know if there's going to be other restrictions that they're going to have to adhere to past that. Use of G3 and G4 wireless is prohibited. This has been a question that's come up quite a bit. How are we going to know whether this is happening or not? Do the devices default to Wi-Fi and shut off their G3? And that's what we're going to hear about a little bit later. One of the other slides that I skipped here was that, I don't know what happened, but that students are required right now by the school policy to keep the device with them. And I think that the school board should have modified that at the last meeting, and they didn't. We are told now at Colley they're going to give them locks so they can put them in lockers. It's also been brought up, well, what are they going to do at recess or gym class and so forth? So I think the policy needs to be changed somewhat because it's going to be impractical for children to keep a device with them the entire time they're at school. And this just shows the Colley website, or actually the district website, and there's an arrow there where you can get online, get the entire policy, the report, and everything that's up to date. Thank you.